Dear unstoppable soul, have you ever felt like you're trying hard, maybe even giving your best, but still, success feels far away, like you're stuck in the same place while others move ahead? It's not because you're not smart enough or strong enough. Often, it's because something inside is quietly holding you back. Success isn't just about effort or talent. It's also shaped by the choices we make every single day. Some habits lift us, others quietly drag us down. They don't always look dangerous, but they feed doubt, delay, and fear. They hide behind excuses, and before we notice, they've built a wall between us and our goals. Maybe it's fear telling you you're not ready. Maybe it's that tiny voice saying, "Do it later." Maybe it's the comfort of routine over the risk of growth. Slowly, these patterns take root. You stay busy but not productive. You dream big but hesitate to act. You want more but settle for less. But here's the good news. These habits are not who you are. They are just patterns, and patterns can be broken. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a clear decision, a spark, a shift. And today can be that shift. This message isn't here to blame you. It's here to awaken you, to remind you of who you really are. A person capable of more, much more. So let's get real. Let's take a close look at the 9 toxic habits that can quietly destroy your success and how you can break free. Let's begin with the silent killer of dreams, the habit of fear. Habit 1. Fear. The silent killer of potential. Fear. It sounds simple, just 4 letters. But inside those 4 letters lives the power to freeze your growth, steal your dreams, and silently destroy everything you're capable of becoming. Fear doesn't always roar. Most of the time, it whispers. It speaks in your own voice, telling you to wait, to hide, to play small. It convinces you that now is not the time, that you're not ready, that you might fail, or worse, that others will laugh at your attempts. And before you know it, you're stuck. Not because you're incapable, but because fear has wrapped itself around your thoughts like a shadow. Many people think fear only shows up in big moments, public speaking, quitting a job, starting something new. But truth is, fear shows up in everyday decisions. It's there when you scroll instead of create, when you say, "maybe later" instead of, "let's go," when you downplay your goals because you're afraid people will judge them. That fear slowly becomes a habit, a daily pattern of holding back, sitting down, and staying silent. And the scariest part? It feels normal. Fear convinces you that staying safe is better than chasing something uncertain. But success? Real success? It never lives in the comfort zone. Every person who made something great out of their life had to stare fear in the face and take a step anyway. Not because they weren't afraid, but because they refused to be ruled by it. They knew fear was part of the journey, not the end of it. Let's say you have a dream. Starting a business, learning a skill, changing your life path. The moment you think about acting on it, fear will jump in. What if I fail? What if I lose everything? What if I'm not good enough? These questions are not signs to stop. They're signs that you're stepping into something that matters. The brain is designed to protect you, so it triggers fear in unfamiliar situations. But just because something is new doesn't mean it's wrong. It means you're growing. And here's something powerful. Fear and excitement feel almost the same inside your body. The same heartbeat, the same energy. The only difference is how your mind labels it. So, what if you started seeing fear as a sign that you're on the edge of growth? What if you told yourself, "This fear means I'm stepping up"? That small shift in mindset can change everything. There's also the fear of judgment. Many people never take the first step toward their dream life because they're afraid of what others might say. But here's a truth most won't tell you. People will judge you no matter what you do. If you try, they'll talk. If you don't try, they'll still talk. So you might as well do it anyway. You owe no one an explanation for chasing your dreams. You don't need approval to become who you're meant to be. Fear can also disguise itself as logic. You'll hear yourself saying things like, "Now isn't the right time," or "I need more information first," or "Let me just wait a little longer." These sound like smart decisions, but if they keep you from acting again and again, they're not logic. They're fear wearing a mask. Growth doesn't need perfect timing. It needs courage. It needs action, even if it's small, even if it's messy. One way to break the habit of fear is to take action before you're ready. Don't wait to feel fearless. That day might never come. Do it scared. Start the thing. Make the call. Apply for the opportunity. Post your work. Speak your truth. The more you act despite fear, the less power it holds over you. Fear doesn't disappear by thinking. It disappears by moving. And remember, no one starts out fearless. Every leader, every creator, every trailblazer you admire once stood where you are now, afraid, uncertain, doubting themselves. But they made a choice. They chose progress over perfection. They chose purpose over fear. And that choice, it made all the difference. So the next time fear whispers, "You can't," whisper back, "Watch me." The moment you stop letting fear control your steps is the moment your real journey begins. Not because fear vanishes, but because you finally decide that your future matters more than your fear. 2. Inconsistency. The hidden thief of momentum. You start with fire in your eyes. Day 1, you're all in, motivated, focused, ready to change your life. Day 2, still strong. But by day 7, life gets busy. You miss a task, then another. You tell yourself, "I'll catch up tomorrow." But tomorrow turns into next week and next week into maybe next month. Sound familiar? That's the quiet damage of inconsistency. Inconsistency is tricky because it doesn't seem harmful at first. It shows up as a simple skip, a small delay. But success doesn't come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do consistently. Even tiny actions, done every day, build powerful results. But once you stop showing up, momentum breaks. And when momentum breaks, confidence cracks. You start doubting yourself. You wonder if you're even capable. Think of a plant. If you water it every day, even just a little, it grows. But if you forget for days, then drown it with water all at once, it suffers. Your dreams are like that plant. They need steady attention. Not random spurts of effort, not just energy where you feel like it. The truth is, consistency isn't about motivation. It's about discipline. Showing up, even when it's boring, hard, or slow. Many people quit not because they weren't good enough, but because they were inconsistent. They expected fast results. When things didn't change overnight, they gave up. But success is never about speed. It's about staying the course. The people who succeed aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who don't stop. They keep showing up, keep trying, keep adjusting, even when no one's watching, even when they're tired. One powerful way to fight inconsistency is to lower the pressure. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be present. Instead of chasing massive leaps, focus on small daily steps. If you want to write 1 page a day. If you want to get fit, do 10 push-ups. If you want to start a business, spend 20 minutes a day learning. These may feel small, but over time, they build momentum, and momentum builds confidence. And here's something most people miss. Every time you show up for yourself, even in a small way, you build self-respect. You prove to your mind, I can count on me. And that belief, that's the real foundation of success. You don't need to be the most talented. You just need to be the most committed. Your future isn't built by what you do once in a while. It's built by what you do every day, even when nobody claps for you. So if you've been inconsistent in the past, forgive yourself, but don't stay there. Restart, reset, recommit. Not next month, not next Monday. Start today. Success isn't a giant leap. It's a series of tiny steps, taken with intention, repeated with heart. And you have what it takes. 3. Indiscipline, the quiet chaos that kills dreams. Indiscipline is one of those habits that rarely gets called out directly, but its damage is deep and silent. It doesn't always come crashing into your life like a storm. It creeps in slowly, through the little things, waking up late, skipping responsibilities, putting pleasure before purpose. At first, it feels harmless, skipping a task here, breaking a rule there. But with time, indiscipline becomes a lifestyle. And once that happens, your dreams start to rot from the inside out. You might have a goal, a clear one. You might even feel inspired. But without discipline, inspiration fades. Goals remain goals, not realities. Because discipline is the bridge between intention and achievement. Without it, even the brightest vision becomes blurry, and the most talented individual remains stuck in place. Indiscipline promises freedom, but delivers regret. Let's be real. Discipline isn't always fun. It's not glamorous. It doesn't always feel good in the moment. It often means doing what's necessary instead of what's easy. Waking up early, saying no to distractions, choosing effort over comfort. But here's the secret. While discipline is hard at first, it gives birth to a life that's easier, calmer, and more in control. Indiscipline, on the other hand, feels easy now but creates chaos later. Think about your time. If you don't discipline your time, others will waste it for you. Social media, gossip, procrastination, they all sneak in and eat away at your hours. Before you know it, a day is gone, then a week, then a year. And you look back, wondering where all the time went. Indiscipline steals your most precious resource, your focus. And without focus, your energy is scattered, your progress is slow, and your confidence drops. Some people believe discipline means being strict and robotic, but that's not true. Real discipline is love in action. It's saying, I care enough about my future to stay committed today. It's knowing that the version of you you're becoming depends on the choices you make right now. It's having the maturity to delay pleasure, knowing that real joy comes from growth and fulfillment, not from temporary comfort. And the beauty of discipline? It compounds. One small disciplined act leads to another. Waking up early makes you feel more productive. That productivity gives you motivation. That motivation leads to progress, and progress creates confidence. Over time, you become someone who doesn't need to be pushed. You become someone who leads yourself. Now, let's talk honestly. If you struggle with discipline, it's not because you're weak. It's because you haven't built the habit yet. Discipline isn't a personality trait. It's a skill. And like any skill, it can be learned. Start small. Pick one area. Maybe your morning routine, your work habits, your health. Stick to it for a week, then 2, then a month. Don't try to change everything at once. Master one area, then move to the next. That's how self-respect is built, by keeping promises to yourself. Another way to grow discipline is through structure. Don't just trust your motivation, trust your systems. Have a plan, set alarms, remove distractions, keep your goals visible, make your environment support your discipline. Willpower is important, but your surroundings matter even more. A person trying to eat healthy shouldn't keep junk food around. Likewise, if you want to stay focused, stay away from distractions. You become what you repeatedly do. And don't forget, discipline leads to freedom. It gives you the freedom to say no without guilt, the freedom to focus without regret, the freedom to live on your own terms. While indiscipline ties you down with chaos and inconsistency, discipline sets you free to chase the life you actually want. So if indiscipline has been ruling your days, it's time to take back control. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be intentional. Start today. Set one small rule and follow it. Build the muscle. Over time, your inner chaos will quiet down, and clarity will rise. You'll walk with purpose. You'll act with power. And that, my friend, is how dreams are built. 4. Making excuses. The art of self-sabotage. Excuses sound smart. They sound logical. They sound like truth. But deep down, they're just lies we tell ourselves to stay in our comfort zone. Excuses are how we protect ourselves from failure, by never trying in the first place. They give us something to blame, something outside ourselves, so we don't have to face the harder truth, that sometimes we are the ones getting in our own way. We've all done it. I'm too tired. I don't have time. I'm not ready yet. What if I fail? I don't have the resources. The list goes on. At first, these excuses feel like valid reasons, but over time they become habits, automatic responses to every challenge, every opportunity, every risk. And slowly, without even realizing it, we build a life based on limitations instead of possibilities. The most dangerous thing about excuses is that they feel comfortable. They remove pressure. They let us off the hook. But they also rob us of growth, because nothing ever gets better through excuses. No dream is achieved by saying, maybe later. No transformation happens through blame. You can't move forward while holding on to a reason to stay where you are. Excuses often come from fear, fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of success itself. We tell ourselves stories to protect our ego. We say things like, I could have done that if I really wanted to, or that's just not my style, or I'm not lucky like them. But the truth is, deep down, we're afraid. And instead of facing that fear, we dress it up in logic and call it an excuse. But here's the truth. Excuses are choices, not chains. You are not stuck unless you decide to be. The moment you stop blaming your circumstances, your past, or other people is the moment you take your power back. Responsibility is scary, but it's also freeing, because if it's your fault, then it's also your fix, and that means you can change your story. Making excuses keeps you busy without being productive. You might say you're planning or waiting for the right time, but deep down, you know you're avoiding the work. And avoiding the work only delays the reward. Imagine how far ahead you'd be if you had started when you first said, maybe later. Imagine how different your life would look if every excuse had been an action instead. Excuses also kill trust with yourself. Every time you say you'll do something and don't follow through, you teach your brain not to believe you. You lose self-respect little by little. But every time you stop the excuse and do the thing anyway, even when it's hard, you rebuild that trust. You become someone who follows through, someone who shows up, someone unstoppable. So how do you stop making excuses? Start by noticing them. Catch yourself when you hear that familiar voice say, "I can't." Ask yourself, is that really true? Or is it just easier to say than to try? Then flip the script. Instead of saying, "I can't," ask, "How can I?" Instead of saying, "I don't have time," say, "What can I change to make time?" Challenge the excuse before it becomes a belief. Also, surround yourself with people who don't tolerate excuses, who challenge you, who push you to be your best even when it's uncomfortable. Your environment matters. If everyone around you is making excuses, it becomes normal. But if you're surrounded by action takers, you'll rise to that level too. You don't have to go from excuse maker to action taker overnight. Just start with one. Pick one area where you've been holding back, your fitness, your dream, your goals. Be honest. Drop the excuse. Take the step. Show yourself what's possible. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. And soon you'll look back and realize you didn't need perfect timing or endless resources or permission from anyone. You just needed to stop making excuses and start moving. Your future is waiting. Don't keep it on hold because of a story you keep repeating. You are stronger than your excuses. And your dreams? They're worth more than your reasons not to try. 5. Procrastination, the thief of time and dreams. Procrastination is one of the most common, most silent, and most dangerous habits that destroy success. It wears a mask of innocence. It tells you, relax, there's still time. It comforts you with the illusion that delaying a task is not the same as avoiding it. But in truth, procrastination doesn't just waste your time. It steals your future. One unfinished dream at a time. We all know the feeling. You plan to start something important. Your project, your study, your workout, your dream. But somehow, you keep delaying. You scroll a little, snack a little, tidy your desk, talk to a friend, tell yourself you'll do it after lunch or after one more episode. Before you know it, the day is gone, and with it, the opportunity to move forward. The danger with procrastination is that it doesn't feel harmful in the moment. It feels safe, easy. You tell yourself you're just waiting for the right time, or waiting to feel more motivated. But let's be honest. Most of the time, the perfect time never comes. And motivation? That fades. What doesn't fade is regret. Regret for the days you could have taken action. Regret for the goals you left hanging in the air, unfinished and unlived. What causes procrastination? Fear, mostly. Fear of failure. Fear of not being perfect. Fear of judgment. Sometimes it's overwhelm. The task seems too big, too hard, too far. So instead of taking the first small step, we avoid it altogether. We choose the comfort of delay over the discomfort of progress. But the truth is, action, even small action, builds clarity. One small step forward breaks the cycle. Waiting just keeps you trapped. Procrastination also weakens your confidence. Every time you delay what matters, you send a message to your brain. This isn't urgent. I'm not serious. And with time, your brain starts to believe it. Your dreams feel less real. Your energy fades. Your ambition dims. But when you take action, even imperfect action, you show yourself that you're in control. And that control builds confidence. One of the most painful parts of procrastination is the guilt that comes with it. You know what you should be doing. You feel bad for not doing it. You promise to do better tomorrow. But when tomorrow comes, the cycle repeats. And every time it does, your self-respect takes another hit. You start feeling lazy, unworthy, or like you're failing. But you're not lazy. You're stuck in a pattern, and like all patterns, it can be broken. So how do you break free? First, stop waiting to feel ready. Most people think they need to feel motivated before they act. But the truth is, motivation often comes after you start, not before. Action creates momentum. Even a few minutes of focused effort can change your entire energy. Start with just 5 minutes. Set a timer. Tell yourself, I'll just do 5 minutes. More often than not, you'll keep going. Second, break big tasks into small, manageable steps. If a goal feels too overwhelming, your brain will avoid it. But if you focus on one tiny action at a time, it feels doable. Want to write a book? Start with 1 paragraph. Want to start working out? Do 5 push-ups. Want to launch something new? Brainstorm for 10 minutes. Small steps lead to big wins. Third, create a routine. Build a schedule that supports your goals. Don't leave things to chance. Set clear blocks of time to work on your priorities. Remove distractions. Turn off notifications. Create a space that encourages focus. Your environment plays a big role in whether you stay on track or drift off course. And most importantly, forgive yourself for past procrastination. But don't keep repeating it. You're not behind. You're not too late. The best time to start was yesterday. The next best time is right now. Every moment you choose action over delay, you take your power back. So stop waiting. Stop doubting. Stop promising to start someday. Your dreams deserve more than delay. They deserve your energy, your time, your effort. Don't let procrastination steal another moment. The future you want is waiting, but only if you show up and take that first step today. 6. Dishonesty. The cracks that break character. Dishonesty may not seem like a big deal at first. A little lie here, a small cover-up there, a shortcut to avoid getting blamed, or an exaggeration to make yourself look better. It feels harmless. Sometimes it even feels smart. But dishonesty, no matter how small, slowly breaks down the most powerful thing you own, your character. And once your character is broken, success becomes fragile. Because true success isn't just about what you achieve, it's about who you become in the process. Dishonesty isn't only about lying to others. The most dangerous kind is the one where you lie to yourself. You tell yourself you're working hard when you're not. You say you gave your best when you know you didn't. You convince yourself that skipping one more task won't matter. But deep down, something inside you knows the truth. That inner conflict eats away at your self-respect. When you live with integrity, your mind is clear, your heart is light. You don't waste energy pretending or hiding. But when you're dishonest, even in small ways, you carry weight. You carry guilt, anxiety, and fear. You're always looking over your shoulder, always protecting a story. That weight slows you down. It clouds your decisions. It holds you back from becoming your best self. Success built on lies never lasts. You might fool people for a while. You might even get ahead temporarily. But dishonesty always comes with a cost. It damages relationships, ruins trust, and eventually collapses everything you've built. Because trust is like glass. Once it's cracked, even if you try to fix it, the mark remains. Being honest doesn't mean being perfect. It means being real, owning your mistakes, admitting when you're wrong, speaking truth even when it's uncomfortable. That kind of honesty builds character, and character builds credibility. People trust you, they respect you. More importantly, you respect yourself. If you've made mistakes, lied, or pretended in the past, it's okay. This isn't about shame. It's about awareness. You can't change your past, but you can change your pattern. Start today. Speak the truth. Even when it's hard. Keep your word. Even when it's inconvenient. And most importantly, be honest with yourself. That's where real growth begins. Dishonesty may seem like a shortcut, but it's actually a detour that leads you further away from your goals. Truth is the only path that keeps you aligned with who you want to be and the life you want to live. Be known for your honesty, even in a world full of deception, because in the end, success without integrity is just failure in disguise. 7. Lacking purpose. The feeling of running without a direction. There's a kind of exhaustion that doesn't come from working too hard. It comes from working without purpose. You wake up, go through the motions, do what you're supposed to do, but inside, you feel empty. No excitement, no passion, no sense of direction. You're busy all day, but at night, you lie in bed wondering, what am I even doing all this for? That's what life looks like when you're lacking purpose. A person without purpose can still be talented. They can still be smart, skilled, and full of potential. But without purpose, they're like a ship without a compass, moving, but going nowhere. Purpose gives your actions meaning. It turns ordinary work into meaningful progress. It gives you a reason to keep going when things get tough. Without it, even success feels shallow. So many people chase goals they don't truly care about. They follow the crowd. They do what's expected. They run after money, status, or approval without ever stopping to ask themselves why. And when they finally get there, they feel unfulfilled. That's because purpose doesn't come from outside rewards. It comes from within. It's about knowing what drives you, what lights you up, what matters most to your heart. Finding your purpose doesn't mean having all the answers. It means asking the right questions. What do I love? What am I good at? What kind of impact do I want to have? What would I do if I knew I couldn't fail? These questions open the door to a life that feels aligned, a life that fuels you instead of draining you. When you have purpose, discipline becomes easier. You're not forcing yourself. You're pulled by something greater. You're not just grinding. You're growing. And even when challenges come, you don't give up easily because you know why you started. That why becomes your anchor, your fire, your compass. If you're feeling lost, don't panic. Purpose isn't always loud. It doesn't always show up as a grand mission. Sometimes it's quiet, helping others, creating beauty, teaching, healing, building, protecting. It's the thing that makes you feel alive when you're doing it. The thing you do even if no one noticed. Start there. You don't have to figure it all out today. Just take a step. Try something. Reflect. Ask. Explore. The more you move toward what feels right, the more your purpose will reveal itself. And once you find that purpose, even if it's just the beginning, everything changes. You stop drifting. You start rising. A life without purpose is just survival. But a life with purpose? That's where true success begins. Don't just chase goals. Discover your reason. Because once you know your why, the how becomes clear. 8. Lack of confidence, the voice that holds you back. There's a voice inside you. Sometimes it whispers, sometimes it shouts, and too often it says things like, "You're not good enough. You're not ready." Why would anyone listen to you? That voice, that quiet, constant doubt, is the voice of low confidence. And if you listen to it long enough, it becomes your reality. You stop reaching, you stop risking, you start playing small, not because you can't grow, but because you don't believe you can. Lack of confidence doesn't always look like weakness. Sometimes it hides behind jokes, behind fake smiles, behind perfectionism. It can even look like arrogance. But inside, there's fear. Fear of being judged, of making mistakes, of standing out, of not being enough. And so instead of showing up fully, you hold back. You shrink your ideas. You silence your voice. You let opportunities pass because you're not sure you're ready. But here's the truth. No one starts confident. Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build, step by step, choice by choice. It grows when you do the things you're scared of, when you show up even when your voice shakes, when you try even when you're not sure you'll succeed. That's how real confidence is made, not by waiting, but by doing. You don't have to be the smartest, the strongest, or the most experienced. You just have to believe that you have the right to try. Confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about trusting that you can figure things out along the way. And every time you push past fear, even just a little, your confidence grows. Every time you say yes to a challenge, your courage stretches. And over time, that voice of doubt gets quieter. One of the worst effects of low confidence is that it makes you settle. Settle for jobs you don't love. Settle in relationships that don't honor you. Settle in life because aiming higher feels too risky. But you were never meant to settle. You were meant to soar. And the only thing standing between you and that version of you is belief. Not belief from others. Belief in yourself. Sometimes we wait for permission, for someone to say, "You're good enough now." But the truth is, no one can give you the permission you won't give yourself. Stop waiting for a sign. Be your own sign. Give yourself a chance. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to have it all figured out. Start where you are, with what you have, and trust that you can grow into the person you want to be. Also, stop comparing your journey with others. Confidence dies in comparison. Everyone has their own pace, their own struggles, their own timeline. What you see on the outside of someone else's life is never the full picture. Focus on your lane. Celebrate your progress. Your small wins matter. Confidence grows when you honor them. And if you've been through failure or rejection, remember this. Those moments don't define you. They refine you. Confidence isn't built by avoiding failure. It's built by rising after it. Each time you fall and get back up, you prove to yourself that you're stronger than your doubt. That's where the real power lives. Not in perfection, but in persistence. So if you've been doubting yourself lately, take this as your reminder. You are more capable than you think. You are braver than you believe. And the world needs what only you can give. Don't let that inner voice hold you back. Talk back to it. Replace the words, "I can't," with "I'll try." Replace "I'm not ready" with "I'm learning." Replace "What if I fail" with "What if I fly?" Confidence isn't about being loud. It's about being honest with yourself, showing up, doing your best, and trusting that it's enough. Because it is. And so are you. 9. Always complaining. The habit that blocks gratitude and growth. There's something about complaining that feels good in the moment. It gives you a quick release, a way to vent, to express frustration, to let the world know you're not okay with something. But like any habit that feels good instantly, complaining has a hidden cost. It drains your energy, poisons your perspective, and creates a life that feels heavier than it really is. The more you complain, the more you train your mind to see what's wrong instead of what's possible. People who always complain often don't realize they're doing it. It becomes automatic. Someone else's success makes them feel small. A challenge feels like punishment. A slow day becomes a bad day. They find problems before they find solutions. And slowly, they become blind to the good things in life, the small wins, the daily blessings, the beauty in the ordinary. That blindness creates bitterness, and bitterness chokes growth. Here's the thing. Life is hard. No one gets a smooth ride. Everyone faces setbacks, unfair moments, disappointments. But how you respond to those moments shapes your character. You can either complain, which keeps you stuck, or you can choose to learn, adapt, and move forward. Complaining is passive. Growth is active. One keeps you locked in the problem. The other helps you find your way out. One of the most damaging effects of constant complaining is that it pushes people away. No one enjoys being around negativity all the time. Friends, mentors, even opportunities slowly drift away when all they hear is what's wrong. Positivity attracts, while negativity repels. And when you lose those positive influences, you lose your support system, often without even noticing. Complaining also creates a victim mindset. You start believing that everything happens to you, not for you. You feel powerless, like you're stuck in a life you didn't choose. But the truth is, you always have a choice. Maybe not in what happens, but definitely in how you respond. And your response determines your growth. Complaining focuses on blame. Growth focuses on responsibility. So how do you break the habit of complaining? Start by becoming aware. Pay attention to your words. Notice how often you say things like, "This always happens to me," "Nothing ever works out," or "I hate this." Each of those phrases is a signal, an opportunity to shift. Ask yourself, what am I focusing on? What can I learn? What can I do differently? That awareness is the first step toward transformation. Replace complaints with gratitude. It may sound simple, even cliché, but it works. Gratitude rewires your brain to see the good. The more you focus on what's going right, the less power the negative holds. Start with small things. The warmth of your bed, a kind word from a friend, a chance to try again today. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means choosing to see beyond it. Also, surround yourself with people who lift the conversation. People who talk about ideas, goals, solutions, not just problems. Energy is contagious. And if you're always around complainers, you'll become one too. But if you're around action takers, you'll rise to that level. Finally, take ownership of your life. When you stop complaining, you start creating. You stop reacting, and you start responding. You shift from victim to victor, and that shift changes everything. Your energy improves, your relationships get better, your focus sharpens, because now you're no longer stuck in what's wrong. You're building what's right. The world is already noisy with complaints. Be different. Be someone who finds light in dark places, who focuses on progress, not problems, who turns frustration into fuel. That kind of mindset doesn't just lead to success. It inspires others along the way. So next time you feel like complaining, pause, breathe, and ask, what can I do about it? That one question can turn a dead end into a doorway. Success doesn't get destroyed in a day. It's eaten away by silent habits. Break free from fear, excuses, and doubt. You're meant for more, and your time is now. Don't just dream success. Live it, build it, become it. This is Mind-Blowing Motive, where your growth begins and excuses end. Stay with us for more powerful truths and simple motivation that moves you forward.